I want you to think about something that you tried and quit, something you told yourself that you just weren't built for, something you said that wasn't for you. I'm going to tell you something, and I hope it bothers you. You weren't bad at it, you were below the rep threshold. Every skill on earth has a threshold. It's the number of attempts, real, genuine, uncomfortable attempts that you have to accumulate before your brain physically rewires itself to handle that skill. Below the threshold, you feel stupid, you feel slow, you feel like everyone else got a manual that you didn't. Above the threshold, and it starts to feel like instinct. The problem is, nobody tells you the number. Nobody hands you a counter that says you're at rep 47, keep going. You just feel like you're failing. And most people, a large majority of people interpret that feeling as a verdict, as proof, as the universe telling them that this isn't their thing. But it's not a verdict. It's just a number you haven't hit yet. Elden Ring. You pick up Elden Ring. You died 40 times in the first 2 hours. Guilty. You put the controller down and said, this game is broken. This game is unfair. This game is not fun. It's not for me. But here's the thing. Every person who loves that game said the exact same thing at rep 30. The threshold for Elden Ring is somewhere around rep 60 to rep 80, right? You needed to die 60 more times. That's it. That's the whole secret. You were almost there, right? Business, sales. You started cold outreach. You sent 30 emails, 15 calls, crickets. You said this doesn't work, the market's saturated, nobody wants what I have. But the top performers in sales don't have a different pitch. They have a different rep count. The threshold for cold outreach is somewhere around 200 to 300 real attempts with real feedback loops. You were at 30, you weren't failing, you were just warming up. Fitness, you go to the gym, you go for 3 weeks. Looked in the mirror, nothing changed. You said, my metabolism is different, my genetics are different. It's just not going to happen for me. The rep threshold for visible physical change is somewhere between 8 and 12 weeks of consistent work. You made it to 3. You quit in the warm-up. How about this? A relationship skill, having hard conversations. You tried to have one difficult conversation with someone you love. It went badly. You decided you just weren't good at it. You shut down. You avoid conflict now. The rep threshold for navigating hard conversations without it blowing up is probably somewhere around 50. You had one rep, and you wrote yourself off. Like, why do we do this? Why do we quit? Sometimes right before the threshold, sometimes not even close to it. Because like below the threshold, the feedback is almost entirely negative. You're bad, you're slow, you're losing, you're confused. Someone might be telling you that. Most likely you're telling yourself that, and no one's telling you that. And we're wired, deeply, evolutionarily wired to interpret sustained negative feedback as danger, as a sign to change course. So the instinct, right? That instinct kept our ancestors alive. In the modern world, it keeps us mediocre. Because the negative feedback isn't telling you to stop, it's telling you that you're in the learning zone. And the learning zone is supposed to be uncomfortable. It's not a bug, it's the whole mechanism. So here's what I actually want you to internalize. The people you look at and think they're just naturally good at that, they're not. They hit the rep threshold and kept going. That's the entire difference. It's not talent, it's not genetics, it's not some gift that they were born with. They were bad at it once. They were. They were confused and slow and embarrassed once. And somewhere along the way, they crossed the threshold. And it started to feel like talent. So everyone around them called it talent. And the myth just got reinforced. There's no talent. There's only, did you hit your rep threshold or did you quit before it? So here's what I want you to do. Pick the thing you quit. Go pick it back up. The thing you told yourself that wasn't for you, I want you to revisit it and ask one honest question. Did I actually hit my rep threshold? Or did I stop at rep 7 and call it proof? Because if the answer is you stopped early and think you know if you did, then you don't actually have data yet. You have a warm up and a story you told yourself about the warm up. So go back, get your reps, find your threshold. And the next time you feel stupid, slow, behind, remember, it's not failure. You're just below the threshold. Keep going.